This is the regular meeting of the Lodging Tax Advisory Board. Let's see, first up on the agenda, which I propose, is a roll call. I know you don't know our names.
Yeah, listen.
Oh, she's gonna work on that. Thank you. So I'm Ashley Lyman, and I am here. This is Amanda Korth.
Kind of.
She's here.
Chris Miller, and I'm here.
Chris Miller. Jason Decker is absent, and Joe Koslowitz is absent. So next is the approval of the agenda. I do not have it printed out, but I can share it here with you. First is the call the meeting to order. Let's see, she is working. Then we have a roll call. Approval of the agenda is number 3. Number 4 is approval of the minutes for 10/10, which I do have for you. Thank you so much. Yeah, you should have had it in your emails.
I do.
Old business is number 5. The only thing we want to talk about is Winterfest. New business is number 6. We have the introduction of our new liaison, discussion of a work session with VIQ and the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce. And then number 7 is miscellaneous from board members. 8 is discussion of the agenda for our next meeting on 11/14, and 9 is to adjourn. Anything that you guys want to change on that? Nope. If I can get a motion to approve the agenda. Motion to approve. And a second.
Second.
All in favor of approval of the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The minutes I was able to print out for you guys. Those are the minutes from our last meeting on October 10th. You guys can just check on that. Anything you need to change?
Got it. Jared, you want this?
You can, I already have one mounted on my wall.
Okay.
You can't tell.
I'll save you right there.
Okay. Everything look good? I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion.
Take a motion. I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All right, old business. Winterfest. So in this section, I was talking to Miss Andra the other day, and we thought it might be a good idea to set up a time where we could have a work session with city staff who would be interested in working on the Winterfest. So that's what this is for, dates and times that we can meet with them.
Oh, we came in to talk to you today.
Oh, you came in to talk to us. Oh, well, that'll work too then.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering. I thought maybe, but I was like, maybe Marty and Jared have something else.
No.
Okay.
No, we came to talk to you.
Cool deal. Well, whenever you guys are ready, we're ready to listen.
I'm still trying to get.
I know. See,
your
I'm so
person
sorry.
signed in.
Well, Marty.
I guess I could start the conversation.
Yes, sir.
I wasn't here for last Winterfest. And I see that you have money requested, budgeted for that in your advisory to council. What exactly do you want city staff to do?
Same thing they did on Santa Fe Trail Days.
Not exactly. This is much smaller than Santa Fe Trail Days was. Amanda?
We put a lot of work into it for this past February, and actually Anissa did a lot of the work. It started out as a group of 4 people who were gonna put this on, and then I ended up being the only one. So I asked the city, hey, can you help me? And they ended up taking on a whole lot of it. So for this next year, we were hoping that the city would take that on like they're taking on Santa Fe Trail Days. When we did a strategic planning session, was that last year? The goal was to have the city take on 2 projects or 2 festivals, right? And so that was the proposal, is that Winterfest be the one during the winter and Santa Fe Trail Days being the one during the summer.
Let's get
Yeah.
him signed in really quick.
Okay.
I don't want me to just holler from the audience.
Yeah. One of the needs, I think, originally this was formed because Orfano County wanted to do a festival. And we talked about doing it during the winter, and back Mayor Phil, he goes, we want some of that action. We don't have anything that happens between Christmas and the spring. That would be great to put in. So based on that, we started doing a collaboration between Orfano and Los Angeles County. We were gonna do that again this year, and we met a first time, and then the guy who was driving in Orfano County was laid off. So it looks like it might just be Trinidad and not both counties.
Okay. And I'll be straight up with you, I didn't know how it went down. You're asking the city to put on an event, and I know we did Santa Fe Trail Days. And now, I mean, we're not in the event business, really, we're a government, we're here to help.
Then
Okay.
what,
But,
you took on Santa Fe Trail Days.
we
That
did,
was,
Yeah,
I feel like maybe your predecessor had a different view because he was very involved in the goal making, the planning.
okay, so you said in your strategic plan, you planned 2 events for the city to do.
Actually, that
The
was our
LTAB board or
board goals.
board goals, okay.
Board goals, when we first got together, that was one of the things that we discussed being a goal, is that we have 2 city events. One in the winter time to draw winter traffic.
Okay,
a lot of that input was from Steve.
from Steve, okay,
Yeah.
well, please don't take it as.
Oh, no, no,
what
no,
I
no,
had
no,
to do.
no,
I'm trying to
Everything is in.
figure it out, because I probably
Recording
will
in
not
progress.
be in this position at Winterfest time,
Oh.
depending on when that is. What's that?
Have they put do they have candidates?
Well, they're looking, that's beside the point.
I mean, that's just a point of
Do you have
curiosity.
those information?
What's that?
Just a point of curiosity.
Yeah.
I can send them a link.
Well, with Santa Fe Trail Days, the city, and with Steve's guidance, took that over and basically did it all. We
Right.
didn't do anything.
I just asked this for money.
And we just,
I got you. Yeah, well,
other than doing money, and we, just like the city, we are even less capable of producing an event.
I might be able to help, if I may. I know it's maybe a lot of work, but,
Well, talk
I
about
was involved.
Winterfest, so if you want to talk about Winterfest.
well, it's the Santa Fe Trails Days, so I want
well.
to bring some comment to, because I have some knowledge that Mike doesn't have, because the chamber had done that for decades. And the chamber, I'm with the chamber,
Mhm.
the chamber had let the city know that after the last one, we had $88 in the bank and $5,000 in debt, and we would not be doing it going forward. So it wasn't like the city said, hey, we want to do Santa Fe Trails Days. In frankness, I leveraged what the city council had said with the 2 events and said, here, Steve, take over Santa Fe Trails Days because we're not doing it anymore. So I know Steve then took that up and the city did what they needed to do, but I just want to make it clear that we kind of pushed that into the city because the chamber was almost ready to dissolve and we didn't have the ability to pull it off. So I thought that might help. Where did that come from? A little backstory.
sure, I appreciate that. So I'm just trying to figure out the lay of the land. I probably will not be here. I don't know if any staff has any perspective on the Winterfest and how that went, if you wanna.
Okay, so, Winterfest last year felt, I stepped in late. If it was intended to truly be a city event, it wasn't, we didn't have enough support for it to be a city event.
Right.
It
It was a private event. This book came in at the last minute as a city event, because as I said, it was just me at the end. Help me.
Okay, so that shed some light on it too, because, when we got there, when we were there, that it was snowing and it was kind of a difficult event to succeed at. we had, I think, decent attendance because, especially in light of the snow. But if the goal is to bring people in from out of town to spend money, we talked about this early on at a meeting between Amanda, Jared, I think, Marty, were you in that one? Oh, Amanda, Jared, and I. And the thought is, after Christmas time, in January, February, people don't have disposable income to spend on anything more than necessities. And so I like the ice sculpture ideas and that sort of thing. I think if we're going to do another one, and I'm not volunteering necessarily because it's like Mike said, we're here to run government. We'll do what we can with respect to events, but very largely our staff is spread out from January to December with supporting other people's events and Santa Fe Trail Festival, Christmas decorations, just the various things that we have going on. We're spread thin anyhow. And your support staff is probably largely going to be the people who were available for Santa Fe Trail Festival, which is mostly the department heads. Unless we pay other support staff overtime. So, that being said, the city doesn't have, I don't know that we have capacity to do this Winterfest. And the second part to that, back to our earlier meeting, we talked about gearing it towards a time, if you're going to do a festival in between Christmas and summertime to draw people in, it should be around spring break time, where people are already coming in. You pull them into your community because they're planning to be traveling anyhow, and they're out and about, and they might have disposable income by that point, especially with tax season. But to do it in January, February timeframe, I can't see that being a feasible event, and we don't have the time at this point anyhow. It's too late to be planning a good event. We put Santa Fe Trail Days together in a very short window. And I don't want the staff to be criticized for not advertising early enough and what have you. We didn't have the time. We did the very best we could. Another comment I've heard before is, you don't make money at these festivals. No, I agree. When Steve took on the Santa Fe Trail Festival, it wasn't to be a money-making event for the city of Trinidad as the sponsor. The idea is you bring people in to the community that'll spend money in your restaurants, in your shops, at the event, and you can't always gauge success based on what money comes in. You have to sometimes base it on community and how your community felt from that event. And I think Santa Fe Trail Festival was a prime example of that. Was a great event because it helped bring our community together, and people of all ages enjoyed it. So that's my 2 cents.
So here, I think we haven't had very good direction. So just to make it clear, we're just kind of following what instructions were given. So I'm hearing that the city doesn't want to take on another event, or they're not in the event business. They're not capable as staff goes right now to take on an event, which is fine.
Which
is
not
fine.
But
We'll just reallocate.
I guess where I'm confused is I feel like it was kind of explained to us that we were expected to come up with something for like a wintertime activity to bring people into town when we're off season.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that this board is capable of putting together an event. I personally don't have that kind of time. I have time to devote to the board, but not in a event planning capacity. So we need some clarification on that, I guess, to maybe the public. I don't know who would need to hear, but we would need someone out there to come to us with an event idea that then we can support, but we're not to plan the events.
If I may comment, I think with the change in city management and some of those things, because a whole lot of that was driven by Steve and his desire to get those things going. We basically need to start over, decide what the city staff, if y'all even want to do Santa Fe Trail Days again, we need to start back there. It doesn't sound like we really have the ability to do, a Winterfest, especially at this time, trying to get another group to start up on it, because I know she can't do it by herself. And if the city is not into it, that was one, again, going back on what was kind of being directed to us by Steve, and moving that direction. So we literally need to start all over and decide what the city is interested in, what we're doing. Our role is advisory, not in developing. So.
So, I will say the city is committed to putting on Santa Fe Trail Festival at this point. It's an annual event that has happened year over year, and it was for staff, even though we worked really hard at it, it was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
And, so we're truly invested in that event.
Were you aware that we weren't asked to do anything? We were just told we were given money. If you needed volunteers and stuff, none of that came back to the board.
Oh, as far as the Winterfest?
No.
As far as Santa Fe
Santa Fe
Trail
Trail Days.
Festival? Okay, repeat that then. Say that one more time.
That we were told, y'all were doing it, handling it, but we had, other than being told that we were giving money to it, did we vote?
No.
I don't think so. It was just basically allocated. We weren't even asked to come and help or support y'all.
I'm assuming that all of that was approved by council though.
Well, maybe, but it's still on the backside. And I don't know if we could have, but as a volunteer or to help staff and city staff, we'd have been more than happy to help y'all with that. As far as Winterfest, that was just, okay, y'all did a great job on Santa Fe Trail Days, so let's suggest that they take over Winterfest too, if you have that ability. If you don't, we don't.
Yeah.
Then unless somebody wants to step up and take it on. And I don't disagree with you about, is that a good time to do it? Because you're so subject to weather and things like that. And it was a great idea. And if it had all come together and people had done what they were supposed to, it would have been even better. Now, I heard good things about Winterfest. I didn't make it down there because I was snowed in. But,
The reason that those dates were chosen is because we were trying to pull in people who were adding an extra day onto their ski vacation. It might be going from Texas or New Mexico. We also tried to position it around the Rio Frio and the Breckenridge Ice Festival. So we wanted to bookend maybe somebody's Santa trip.
and I think it was another justification for getting the lights, the projectors. If we can do that at Winterfest, then let's get those projectors. So.
And so, that being said, I think you could think of other ideas that can just be simply, back to my experiences comment. People want experiences, they want to come and be able to do something. And
So the light show might just be.
light show, even if we had some ice sculptures in place in a light show, or an ice sculpture, somebody who was actually making the ice sculptures.
Yeah.
And it was advertised enough that, it would draw people in. Something like that that's not such a one-point gathering place, because last year it was Space to Create. Everything happened inside of that building, and there wasn't staff to support the event. And so it was very challenging, especially with it snowing like that. So if you do something that provides that experience and it's not a lot of extra work for city staff, you can plan something like that. But we're back to being in a time crunch for planning something like that.
Well, also, and again, I'll restate, that is not our position to form that, that group to do that.
Right.
It's our if we want to propose giving money to it, or if, we can mention it as a good idea if somebody wants to take it on, but we can't take it on. And the city can't, so like I said, we start all over.
At least for this year, I would agree. You need to just scratch it from the list and make a recommendation to reallocate those funds. Now, Santa Fe Trail Festival can definitely use those funds. It's not an inexpensive venture for the city to do.
Right.
And again, it's largely a community event, but it touches on all aspects. It touches on arts, it touches on culture, and it's for all ages. And it's a free event unless you want to go ride rides or buy something.
Right. And for my part, I'm thrilled that the city is still gonna basically take on the Santa Fe Trail Days Festival. I think it's a good idea. I think from what I heard, the staff that worked on it enjoyed it.
We did.
Worked hard, but enjoyed it.
We
So
did.
just know that, at least I'm available to be hollered at.
Sounds good.
I
We
helped.
need
help Marty with
security
the-
at tables.
What was that, the bicentennial one?
I'll probably
Yeah,
be there with my job though.
Right. Definitely.
So let me ask you right quick. So do we want to reallocate those funds, or do we want to hold them for like an end of the year event rather than a beginning of the year?
Well, I think according to what Cheryl sent you all, you need to have a plan because city council needs to then approve that plan.
Right, and we have it, and the money's on there. But what I'm saying is, so, where do we fall in the timing of a winter fest? Like, are we thinking we might wanna change it to between Thanksgiving and Christmas?
For next year, you mean?
Like, yeah, then we wanna keep it in there if we wanna do it at the end of next year, not the beginning.
Well,
But if you wanna do it at the beginning of the year, after January 1st, between that and April, then we would take it out completely for next year. and put it
again,
back in for
are we putting the
26.
cart before the horse though? We need somebody that wants to take on an event, whether it's called Winterfest
Yeah.
or what.
True.
Because, we
Well,
could,
I guess I got confused when, I'm trying to write notes because our secretary's not here. So I said, you said maybe something would be possible if we kept it small, like the light show and the ice sculptures. And, maybe do it in a central location like the park or something.
That's still gonna be
That
a lot of
might be
money.
possible.
I mean, the ice sculptures were already expensive, and those were just molds.
The actual,
now, there's a possibility that who actually does the parade, the electrified parade?
Hometown holidays.
You're talking about the Christmas?
Yeah.
Parade?
Christmas
Yes,
lights.
hometown holidays.
Hometown holidays might be something day after their event, using the projectors and do it.
We talked the other day, and that's what I said too. Grapevines and all that.
No.
Grapevines and
Yeah,
stuff.
no, just the thought.
I thought the same thing. I was like, why don't we just get them to expand there?
It's because that's why we're here.
Right. Okay. So I have turned this in, the budget in already. I know there's like an extra review. It goes to a committee.
Yes.
Will you guys take that off, or do we need to redo it?
If you vote to remove that from the list,
Well,
we'll just,
reallocate it to,
You
Yeah,
can
it has
just
to
keep
stay in
it
the
in your
same
budget and then you can
it has
use
to stay
it
in the
as
same
you.
section, that's fine, but,
Okay.
just change that to future events, somebody comes to us, we've got it to possibly support.
I mean, honestly, I would just delete the line back.
Okay.
Okay.
I move to delete the line, because this is a motion. I don't need a motion.
You want to say anything else?
no, if you don't have any other questions, I'll sit down now.
I'm sure we do, but.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, so do we want to do it today, or do we want to wait till next time to talk about it?
Delete the line.
Deleting the line.
I think we just did.
Okay, well, we have
We
to have
have
a
to do a
motion
motion.
and a vote.
Yeah, I make a motion that we just alter the final request on the budget to eliminate the Winterfest line item and put it as however you want to put it.
Add to the bottom line. Second.
That'll go with that recommendation.
All in favor of removing the Winterfest line item from the budget?
Okay, not removing it from the budget, reallocating it to another line item.
Moves to reallocate Winterfest line item to, what is it?
That would be,
Trails and recreation.
or a new line item, change Winterfest to
You
just
can put it under festival funding as well.
under festivals. Yeah, just put it as festivals.
It's part of, we have it in there under the maintenance, improvement, and development of recreational facilities and programs. So we wouldn't be able to take that out of there
You can't.
because of the percentages.
Based on
Yeah.
percentages.
So, line item to trails and recreational development.
No?
Yeah. And then Amanda seconds.
All in favor, aye?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Say what?
Joe says aye.
Aye, thanks, Joe. Joe is present. Joe, how long have you been there?
5 minutes.
All right, I'm gonna put you present at 2:21. Or 2:24. All right, so that one is approved. That was all for Winterfest. What you got?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Wait,
Yeah, sure. All right, so this one is, the decision matrix was actually removed. Just in case you missed it this morning. New business, introduction of our new liaison. Hi. come
Hi
on,
everyone,
introduce
I'm
yourself.
Veronica. I'm Veronica Mays. I'm your new Trinidad City liaison. So pleasure to be here. Welcome the opportunity.
Great.
Looking forward to getting to know you guys better.
Thank you. So just to kind of, you will be at all of our meetings?
Correct.
Correct. All right. 'Cause-
So I will need a calendar of when those are because I didn't know about this one until I got that email.
All right. We meet the second and fourth Thursdays at 2 p.m.
Perfect.
I thought the first one was 11. No?
No,
it's
they're
every time
both at 2. Both at 2. Yes.
since you're on our agenda, can you give us a little background?
Sure.
I
So.
mean, you're already hired, so we don't have to worry about it.
So it doesn't matter what I say. So I am coming to Trinidad from Georgetown, Colorado, but lived and worked in Denver for the last a long time. I am coming to you all from the field of education, where I was a teacher, a counselor, an assistant principal, a principal, a director of multilingual education, an instructional superintendent, and finally the chief academic officer. I've worked with many boards, from community boards in Georgetown, where I was part of the Georgetown Community Performing Arts Board, as well as the Georgetown Historic Preservation Board. And then obviously school boards, a lot of school boards, a lot of members of school boards. So a lot of experience with that as well.
Do you have marketing experience at all? Or
With Georgetown, with their, with the GCAP, yes.
what about digital marketing?
Yes, I have created a couple of websites there in Georgetown for those groups.
Because I'm assuming that you'll be, is it all right if I speak German? I'm assuming that you'll be, again, our contact through, with the Destination IQ.
That is correct.
Yeah, it can sometimes be overwhelming trying to understand what
Yes,
telling us, so,
yeah. I will be that contact person for you.
okay.
Just to give you a heads up, we'll probably lean on you for city jurisdiction and
As well you
stuff.
should. Yes, that's my role, yes.
Because we know nothing, and I always have questions.
Okay.
If I could get your contact information.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Great. and I'll
Before I
give you
leave
mine.
today, I'll give it to all of you.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Rodriguez? All right, thanks. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice
Welcome
to
to
meet
the
you all.
team. That was that. Discussion of a work session with DIQ. So Lindsay from DIQ during our last meeting asked if we could meet to do a work session to discuss a few things. I think part of that was the renewal and the budget for next year once we have
Approval.
our approval for this. Do we have a timing on approval for the budget? Or can we discuss the marketing budget with marketing DIQ before the budget is actually approved?
When would you discuss with, because our budget goes to council kind of the last meeting in November. So if you could have that kind of finalized before then, Cheryl's not here, but I think she can plug that all in.
I think we want to meet with the IQ in December or January.
If we're assuming that we're gonna keep it flat, I see no reason why we can't go ahead and proceed. So like if we're reviewing at the street rate, we're happy until we have the budget, we might as well start meeting with the IQ and keep it moving.
Okay, so you guys will be by the last meeting in November. So that, if that number changes, we'll know then, right? So do we want to meet with them before that or after that? Do you think November or December? What do you think?
December. I think it should be.
They're both full of stuff. Probably. We can't, one of our meetings falls on Thanksgiving, so
We're gonna have to change that.
change anyway. See what their schedule is, talk to them and get back to us.
All right.
Mine thought of early December.
We'll see what, yeah, early December. So I'll reach out to Lindsay and see if early December is gonna work for them or if they need it sooner for some other reason. But I think it was just to talk about next year's budget.
Yeah.
So that's that. All right. Last thing on the agenda, Pat Howlett reached out to me. Come on up, Pat. He said he had some things he would like to discuss.
From the chamber and
From the
it's
chamber,
sincere.
not Pat himself,
Yeah,
the whole
exactly,
chamber.
exactly. And members of the board, and welcome.
Thank you.
Glad you're here. First of all, a couple of things. 143-year-old Chamber of Commerce, second oldest in the state, almost dissolved. We had lost our way. We were unable to do the Santa Fe Trails Days, and we're so grateful the city did it and did such a great job. And the two of you did an amazing job. And you need to be, the hat needs to be tipped sometimes.
It was lots of people.
But again, so pass that on. We were not in a position to do that. We had $88 in the bank, about $5,000 in debt, and we had just done the Santa Fe Trails Days at the time. And so, like I said, we had lost some trust. We had diminishing membership and diminishing ambassadors, and we're unable to help really anybody. That's changed. We have more numbers joining us than ever before. We have an expanding ambassador group, and we will be able to help. One of the things that we had to do some hard stuff. We had to let a good executive director go. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions. We had to remove certain board members that just weren't compliant with the mission. You know, there's better ways of saying that maybe, but I think that's my way, okay? We had to really recruit some new people. from across the industry. And we look for industry experts. We look for people in cannabis to sit in the cannabis seat. We look at people in lodging to sit in the lodging seat. Those in housing, those in professional services, and across the board. So we had a board with subject matter experts in those areas. And we're moving forward. It's been approved by our members. We've had great outreach to Colfax County and Raton, to Huerfano County and La Veta and Walsenburg, that we will be taking this 143-year-old Chamber of Commerce into becoming a regional business alliance. We've got folks at the state level and the regional level. We will have 2 states, 3 counties, and about 9 municipalities who, like us, continue to fail at putting a really sustainable business organization together, because we're all trying to do it alone. But we are historically connected communities. There's invisible lines between us, but our cars seem to drive there no matter what. We own property over there, and they own property over here, and we do business there, and we employ folks from there. So we're going to be moving that forward. The intention is to try and have that done by the end of the year. We've got a law firm that we're engaging right now, a consultant firm right now, and we have the dollars to be able to do this, okay, on our own. Like I said, we're growing, which is a good thing, because now we can be a good partner to the city. And now we can be a good partner to our friends, Marty and others that have done so much there. But so we won't be doing events anymore. We're not that entity. We can help with events, where we can bring promotion, we can bring the business community, we can bring volunteers, but we can't lose another nickel putting on events. It really was not. We weren't good at it either. It really, like the city needs to stay in their lane and do the things they need to do, because they got a lot of it to do. And the chamber needs to be a business organization, an alliance of chamber members. However, we had a bad summer. And my members kind of looked at you guys a little bit towards that, okay? You're a new board, you just got set up, new ordinance, which we find to be what should be a model across the state. The new ordinance that the city put in place to take 100% of that and move it from just marketing and promotion to benefits for citizens, art and culture and whatever, we like that a lot. But last time I saw you guys was probably 6 months ago or so, 7 months ago or so, and I said, your calendar's broken, the website is broken, your dining guide is broken, and those need to be fixed. And the answer at the time, which I think was the answer that was the answer at the time, was that's going under a refresh and we're going to get that. It wasn't until a couple of weeks before 4th of July that any of those things got fixed, and it wasn't until I think this board sent the dining guide to the RadFest folks that was incorrect, had 11 businesses that aren't there anymore, and about 12 that were businesses that weren't on there, and the chamber had issues with that. Because these events that we're doing right now are not to put one-night stands into our hotels. And so when I talk to the good folks over at Destination IQ, and their metric of success ends up being increased heads in beds, we say no, we don't buy that metric. We have to have businesses. So a metric we are asking our hotels to provide is 2-night stays, 3-night stays. 1-night stay, your marketing doesn't have any ripple effect on 1-night stays. They're coming through in 3 hours from someplace and 3 hours from another place, and they stop here and they say, let's stop. This seems like a nice place to stop. And they stop. So the metric needs to change. And we've had good discussions with the Destination IQ, because the chamber does not like that metric. And you wouldn't like that metric too if you were a business owner. We need to drive things. So we're very interested in something happening in the winter. We lost a lot of stuff. And we may lose the RadFest. Okay?
I think the RadFest is very happy with what they've had in Trinidad. I don't think we're in danger.
We're off some of their schedules. And I've had discussions that I'll keep to myself with regards to some of that stuff. But let's say we have that. We lost the Artocade. We lost the Blues Fest. None of those were replaced. We would like to see something happen in the winter because, like I said, our business owners are telling me we had a really bad summer. Factor that, the cannabis loss into that, which took away just cannabis tourism. Factor in that, and a lot of folks are down 30 to 40% across the board, including our city. And that's everywhere. And so my board, a lot of our members, and certainly those in the lodging industry, were disappointed. Members downtown that are trying to we have lots of restaurants, we have lots of shops and lots of art, and they were disappointed. And so they send me sometimes to say, where are we, guys? And here's what I've said. New board, getting their feet wet, we got in late, let's give grace. Let's just give grace right now and move forward. We had issues with the lodging tax increase. Our lodging members have questions with regards to that. And some of the questions have to do with almost that taxation without representation kind of angle, in that they're never asked anything. Now, a member of your council, by the way, I love all you guys. I appreciate everything you do. I watch your meetings. I know how hard this stuff is. I know how hard that gal works. And so I'm not throwing bricks. What I am saying is, and I hope this is logical stuff, is that we were very late. I was the vice president of the tourism board in Grand County. That's Winter Park ski area and all points in between. We had $1 million budgets. We would be planning next summer now. We'd have planned winter a long time ago. And again, we're behind. And so things we really have asked for is and so we've been asked by current mayor, the past mayor, lots of folks to provide some support on the lodging tax increase. We've had discussions with lots of folks. You and I have talked several times. I've talked to the previous city manager. I know that guy and love that he's here, and hopefully he stays around for a long time. We've had good conversations as well, but we need to say, so we're going to be coming out. I've gotten approval from my board to come out in favor of this, but it's nuanced. And so what I want to do is just say, put us to work. We are that organization that can help. You know that. We are that organization that can help. We're not going to get into something where we lose money, and we don't want the city to get into things where they lose money. We want to kind of stay in our lane and stay on mission. So you should be able to call on us. We may have a proposal for you for something in the winter because our businesses need it. They need us to deliver. And so we may be doing that. We'll take that up. We're a little stronger than we have been in the past. And so I want to really quickly read what you'll read in the newspaper here in the next couple of days, okay? I sent a copy to Ashley and said, just keep this to yourself right now. We may nuance it. So this is the letter to the editor. Mayor Phil Rico had sent one. Another group has sent one. So we figured we needed to come out in some way. So the lodging tax increase is being presented to voters for the second time with an increase from 3% to 6%. I remember when those who take the position, no new taxes ever, passed on the opportunity to finally fund our schools via the BEST grant so our kids had heat, AC, better technology, and addressed neglected infrastructure. Folks said no, even though it would cost them nothing. The good news is that we had a second chance to say yes, we did, and I invite folks to see what the investment did for our school district, our kids, our teachers, and the community. If one looks at the competing towns along Highway I-25 north to south, you will find that all other communities have a higher lodging tax than Trinidad. So in fairness, those seeking lodging, this matches the market tax rate. And a business organization can say those sort of things. I will be voting yes. Why? To provide permanent funding for recreation, indoor and out, arts and culture could be funded in a way that delivers on the promise of Trinidad being an arts community. With declining revenues across the board, this seems like the only option to improve the lives of Trinidadians by investing in our parks, trails, facilities, and activities. Our youth and seniors deserve this, and visiting lodgers will also benefit from these improvements. It's one of the few taxes that once put out there, the folks that are being taxed will get an immediate benefit along with our business growth and along with our residents' benefits. As chamber president, I've had conversations with city and state leaders regarding the chamber's position, and it is more nuanced. I'm bringing at least 10 votes yes to this, okay? We have some concerns and have asked for commitments on the following: transparency, accountability, and a plan. And I'll deviate here a little bit. A plan is not a budget. A budget is the expenses and things you'll do based on the plan. And we need a real plan. We need something in writing. We're giving this grace. You have time. We want a commitment, though.
What plan? Okay, so I'm not sure what exactly
Let me
is
finish this
expected.
and we'll come back there, because I think that's a vital question, okay? The chamber remains transparency, accountability, a plan open to the public for input and view, and quarterly financial reports would help. The chamber board remains neutral but ready to work with the city on these legitimate requests. Involving chamber, lodging, and recreation business members in these decisions go a long way in creating trust, and quite frankly, they are most knowledgeable in the space and a valued resource. If you believe, as I do, that we can make sure these funds go to the appropriate purposes outlined in the ordinance, then vote yes with this second chance. The chamber intends to play a role of watchdog as instructed by our members, and believe our good relationship with the city will assist them in positive outcomes. So in regards to the plan, what the ordinance did is the ordinance set up, instead of all 100% going one way, 35% went into that bucket. 30% goes towards what we consider resident improvements. Quality of life stuff, parks. Maybe kids will play soccer again. Maybe our seniors will have some benefits as well. We're not seeing what that is, okay? Arts and culture, there's a percentage there. We want to know what's been done in the past, and some of this has to do with some of the comments that have been made already here from the DAs. Is that we don't know, we heard that from the city. So the transparency we're asking for is something you guys are probably asking for. The accountability we're asking for is something you're kind of asking for. And a plan everybody should be asking for, okay? So these aren't outlandish things. And so what a plan would be is something that says, this is what we, because again, I'll just say it, because I work for a different constituency. I circumvented you guys. I decided Steve wanted to get stuff done, and it was much easier to go to him and say, Steve, we can't do the Santa Fe Trails Day things. You said it, I've got this video, go look at it, I sent him a link. Here's where you guys at the city said you wanted to do 2 events. Les Down said we worked on it, everybody said that. That came from the city council, saying those 2 events and they would fund it and do the work for that. I said, to my board, we're taking one of those. It's going to be Santa Fe Trails Days, and we're going to put it over there because we don't have the funds or the ability or the capabilities to do it. So we did that. Didn't need it. The Homegrown Music Series. That was something that the chamber said, you know what, we need to do something for our businesses right now, and we're going to, instead of trying to have a lot of volunteers because we don't have them, what we're going to do is we're going to go with our hotel partners, and we're going to put music in there, so when somebody's there Friday night, there's a pianist or a violinist or somebody playing music, and they're giving out little flyers to everybody staying there. And then the next day, they know where to go. They go to all of our businesses downtown, and we're walking around, because 1 o'clock Moose's starts, 3 o'clock starts at the well, it moves over to the marketplace, and we move music around because one of our big assets is our local live music. We are abundantly blessed with the amount of musicians that are here. And just to see the benefit concert was just done recently, we raised $3,500 here for North Carolina and Florida hurricane. So we have folks that are vested in there. I just said, Steve, this is what I want to do. I need $20,000. I see it in your budget. He said, can't do that, then we'll take $10,000. All that money went out. When we paid a musician to play someplace, they, after that, went to restaurants. They went to a bar. They bought some chicken wings. They bought some beer. All those $10,000 plus stayed here. So what I'm asking is...
I guess what confused is,
okay.
Yeah, you got money for Santa Fe, or for the first thing, we voted that money to you guys. The Hometown Music Festival, we voted that money to the Hometown Music Festival. So what is it that we are not doing?
Well, again,
when you're coming to me asking
hold a second. Steve came to, no, I'm not. We're not asking
or when they came to us and said, hey, we need this, and this.
Again, we did not come to you.
No, you went to Steve, Steve came to us.
And had approved. I'm just telling you, that's where the chamber is sometimes.
I understand, but if you had come to us, we would have done the same thing. I'm not sure where we're failing when we're actually voting to give funds.
We saw the same dysfunction that we saw in our own body, the chamber. We saw some of that dysfunction with this body. It was very hard to get things done. I've used some examples. We had a website that was broken, wouldn't get fixed. You're doing marketing, digital marketing, and you're driving traffic and visitors to a website and calendar that's broke. The biggest...
Is it still broken?
No. But a couple of days, about a couple of weeks before 4th of July.
That's
that
when
stuff
it
got
crashed.
fixed.
Yes, there was an issue.
Okay, right after that, it started getting fixed. And I've had conversations with
That's when we
Destination
realized
IQ,
it
and we'll
was
continue to have conversations
Right.
with them.
But to say that we're dysfunctional, it feels a little
Hard?
unfair because we have been functioning. We've done those things.
Hey,
We're doing what we can.
Hey, Ashley, let's just blow your pad out. Don't get defensive. He's bringing perspectives to us from people that we're not interfacing with. So
Again,
let's just roll with the feedback. We can discuss this internally. I realize you want to defend our work, but
Well,
let's just
I
hear what
just
you have to say. And
I guess I'm feeling like maybe-
get our feelings hurt about it or anything.
I appreciate that, Joe.
Like what kind of? I'm not sure. Like how? What can we do more? Is what I'm. What is your expectation?
I think your new liaison should be of good help in that regard. Okay.
Can
I
I just
think-
paraphrase so that way I make sure that I'm hearing you
Pardon?
correctly? Can I just paraphrase so I make sure I'm hearing you correctly? So what I think I'm hearing is more transparency all the way around, like with the new ordinance and what that means specifically.
Three things. We want
Yeah,
transparency,
accountability,
and we want a plan. And so to your question, Ashley, which I thought was very important, was that the plan should look like a business plan. It's not a marketing plan. Now, a marketing plan is part of a plan that a business has. But the business plan itself, and I know somebody on that board can put together a heck of a good plan because I've seen her work before, okay? But a plan would actually be something that anybody can take and look at and see what direction, where you are right now and what direction you want to go in. I think that would help your relationship with the city. I think it would help your relationship with the members. Now keep in mind, and I liked what Joe said, I'm representing 150 members of your community that are business members.
I'm one of them.
Okay, I understand. And these are the biggest employers here, okay? And they didn't have a good summer.
Nobody.
Oh, I understand. So when you look at me, this isn't Pat complaining. I'm not trying to be hard. The emails and the messages and the stuff I get from folks, trust me, it is a lot harsher.
I know it
They're lying.
seems like I'm defensive, but I just want to make sure I understand what you want so that I can make it happen. I want to be good at my job.
I think, and I love that you're in that.
I have no clue what you guys want, though. I really don't.
I think you have members of your board, and you've got a talented crew. These are talented folks. And the folks that aren't here, Joe, Jason, etc. I think when I say a plan, I think there's somebody within your organization that understands exactly what that is and exactly how to put that together. Okay? And so that's what we're looking for. We want a plan. Same thing you requested this from the city. Plans, okay?
Is it
Hey,
different
Pat,
from a
please.
strategic plan?
Hey, just real quick, so we have done a lot of this work, but it's not published. And this is an interesting thing, I think, across the city in general in terms of the transparency, accountability question. So, last year around this time, we were holding work sessions for basically 3-year planning. So it's like, what do we want to accomplish? Most of those details are focused on year one. Most of those things have been checked off the list. So we actually have some of this. I think we can refine and improve on it, but we had including, specific attainable goals laid out in terms of what we wanted to see out of the digital marketing campaigns this year. So this is the time we need to be looking at what our goals were that we set, see if we reached them or not, and look ahead to put that plan together. So I think the question is, how do we publish that? It's easy enough to type it up in a document or something, but how is that distributed? Like, should we go through UPAC to get to the chamber? Should the city be posting it on the website or something? I think that we're at least halfway there in terms of what you're looking for. It's a matter of getting that information out. So you might tune into our meetings to know what's going on. I don't think a lot of the chamber members necessarily do. Some of them, I'm sure, do. But they might not be aware of some of the work that we are trying to accomplish as well. So a huge piece of this does boil down just to communication and kind of bundling it up to get it out there.
100. I co-sign everything you just said. 100%. That's why I think some of this stuff will help, and that's why I've said where the chamber is grace. This is new. We're just getting things going. But let's have expectations. And I know you've done some of this work, And what we would like to do is be a full-throated supporting advocate of this because it helps our businesses. Okay? It doesn't do the chamber any good at all to get into fights with the city or any of the boards. Most of the members of these boards are our members too. Okay? So we want to get in. So Joe, that's exactly right. We want to make sure that we're communicating because we can't let Facebook be our communication channel. It's not very friendly. It's fairly toxic. Okay? And so we want to get ahead of that. We do a pretty good job, I think, with our members of letting them know what's going on, where we're needed, what lane we should be in, what lane should we not be in. And so you're going to find us moving forward. But if we had those things, if we had just the commitment, transparency, a commitment of accountability, this is where money is, this is where money's going, this is where we plan on going things, and the plans we can take it to our members, and our members, who, like I said, are the most experienced at this stuff. They own the hotels. They have the restaurants, they have the things. We should have something we give them and say, what do you guys think of this? And they should be able to say, not pick it apart, but hey, I think we can improve that. Love this idea. How do we do this? I can rally hotels together. I can rally businesses together. You have a friend in the chamber that we need to talk more. We need to be allies more. We need to work together more. And that's why my members have said, Pat, you need to go there. And we need to come up with some support for this lodging tax because if you guys in this plan will show the chamber and the citizens how that 30% actually benefits them and where they're getting the benefit of that, this is a slam dunk done deal. For that BEST grant, I took on that campaign. I knocked on every door in this town. If you lived here at the time, you got your door knocked on. I went to every business in this town and we passed that overwhelmingly because it was an education piece. Folks didn't understand what they got. What's in it for me? And we got to do that with them. What's in it for me? And there is good stuff in that. There's good stuff in that ordinance.
Let me ask a question real quick.
Go ahead.
You keep repeating we need more transparency. What have we not been transparent on?
I don't think you.
I have a question about how does that look to you?
Okay. I think you guys have a problem with you guys should be asking the same thing that we're asking of you to the city. This would be my answer to that. I think you need a little more transparency of what happened when Steve was here. How did that process work? How did some things get funded and get commitments to it, but other things didn't get funded and commitments to it, right?
Right.
And so you have those questions too of how did it happen outside of your realm?
But you're accusing us of being
not accusing.
not being transparent.
No, I'm
and we're dysfunctional.
Well, I watched some of your meetings. They were rather interesting, to say the least. There was conflict.
That's Pat, not the chamber.
What's that?
You said
That's you.
No, you
said
said
he watched the meetings.
I watch all your meetings, all the city council meetings.
But that opinion is Pat, not an opinion of the chamber, correct?
Oh no, I'm here representing the Chamber of Commerce and our board, who are business owners and leaders who also have watched those meetings in the past.
Okay,
Not everyone.
just a question. I wasn't accusing anyway. So.
Yeah, but no, again, let me be very clear. Everything I've said, everything I'm talking about has been cleared with my board. I have the full support to say everything I've just said, and in all frankness, has sweetened the pot a little bit so that I can say it a little more kindly.
Well, we are frustrated with some of the things that happened in the past and things that we should have had control of and we didn't.
Yep.
But that's why I mentioned earlier when we were talking about a specific event, we need to start all over.
Let me give you a for instance on transparency. But this may be the best, okay? And with the city manager here, it may help. We look at the ordinance and we say that's good. That should be a model everywhere. And we look at how it spells out who you lay out, how an LTAB board is, what their requirements are to do, that they're a advisory board to advise directly to the city council. We look at the funding kind of requirements. We look at all those kind of things. And then we see something, and this is my members getting with me, what is this LTAB committee? What's the LTAB committee, okay? And so from a transparency perspective, we're looking at the ordinance, and we're not seeing anything in the ordinance that actually has a committee. What we see is a board that was set up by the city that advises the city council, and now a new element is now in place in the middle there. We wonder, have we just made the LTAB board impotent? Have we just took power away from the L4? I'm just asking questions.
It's my understanding the committee comes from the strategic plan.
I understand, which in most cases, you don't have a strategic plan. Good to have one. I like ours, support it. But plans don't change ordinances and laws. And so we would like to understand, what is that? Will that LTAB committee be operating under the sunshine laws? Will that LTAB committee actually have their minutes read? Will somebody be filming that? Will you guys be making advisory decisions here that the chamber's interfacing with, and there's another group in the middle of that we don't know what happens at, and then something comes out that now advises the city council, but
Don't
so,
think it goes beyond the budget plan.
Again,
I'm not.
that's where transparency comes in. Yep.
I share the same concerns about that committee, and I'm very curious about the city's plan to reorganize all of our boards. All we've heard is really rumors at this point, aside from this specific committee being announced to our board. And that was only a couple of meetings ago, maybe 3 meetings ago at this point. So yeah, we're in the same boat on that question.
Well, and again, I'm not saying there's anything nefarious going on. I appreciate and respect the folks at City Council. What I'm saying is if you don't say something and nobody knows what that something is, and you enact it and there's no governing point of reference to enact it, and it's in the strategic plan, which to me is not the right answer, then we say, can somebody come explain this to us? Again, I don't think that's a hard, it's not, there's, again, no accusation. Nobody's done anything wrong. It didn't, quite frankly, I think like the ordinance itself, if people understood what that can do for our community from a permanent funding source, there's good news in there. We need to share the good news. But when you have something you don't share anything from it, at least our members are saying, what gives? Because you know what? We all have trust issues with government. It's not personal, but we do. And so that gives you an example of transparency. Now that needs to be, so that's communication. So then it ends up being accountability, and it ends up being, was that in the plan? I think these things are just a triangle that actually each one fortifies and substantiates the other. Does that make sense? Does that answer that?
Yeah, it does. Okay. A lot of it's we have thought about and are curious about. That's again, we need to start all over. We got new people.
We're not throwing bricks at anybody. Yeah. This is, I think, something easily worked out, right?
One thing I do appreciate is you taking on the stance of promoting the.
Oh, we can't say that. We can't discuss that.
Say let them holler at me. Promoting.
I'm going to holler at you.
Don't say. Actually, quite frankly, I appreciate you not being able to do that.
Right.
I appreciate it's hard for me to come to somebody and say, let's just follow the rules, and then say, but let's break a couple of them. Yeah. So let's all follow the rules and the procedures. I'm allowed to do that because I have a different constituency that allows me to do that. Well, and we're a 501c6, folks, and that's different than a 501c3. We, by IRS law, are allowed to advocate to any government entity on behalf of our members. That's why they pay us a fee. So I am 100% here in the role that we're supposed to have, and not in any role other than that. Okay, so
I have clarification questions.
Please.
Since you were pointing to the 30%, okay, so we have the 30% put aside. We have a section of that put aside for the Santa Fe Trail Days. We just took the Winterfest out, so that's going back into the pot. That pot is named Trails and Recreational Development. So in my head, and I guess I'm not speaking for everybody here, but in my brain tells me that money is money that is allocated that we should maybe work with the Parks and Rec board and come up with ideas to use
so
that
our board
money,
Our board has had this discussion, and here's how we look at our function. There's 3 legs to our stool. Member success, economic development, we want to be at every seat where they're talking about economic development area, and quality of life improvements for our citizens. Our thinking is, when you go into a town for the first time and you drive around, if you see kids playing in parks, and you see seniors doing things, and you see activity from the most vulnerable amongst us, you can put a check mark. Their economy's probably pretty good. Our kids have suffered for the last bunch of years, and our board sees a part of our job of making it better. Our soccer fields are empty. Our rec department isn't funded. We don't have enough activities for them. Our seniors really don't. Although we do the best we can do better. We can do better. So trails, yeah, fine. But trails will find a way of getting funded. Lots of money out there. But you know what we'd like to see? Kids playing, activities for kids, seniors, folks off the street. We want to see those tangible things. And we look at that 30% and say, that's where that money is.
So here's what I think the process for that would be, though. Then you go to Parks and Rec Board and you say, hey, we want to do this, and we want a program for soccer for the youth in Trinidad. And we need you guys to figure that out because that's part of their thing, right? Their Parks and Recreational. So they would figure it out and then come to us and be like,
Yeah,
okay,
I
we have
understand.
this plan for these soccer
I
things.
understand.
Can we
If
get
you
money
guys
for
think
that?
you're
And then I
busy,
can give-
if you guys think you're busy with jobs and activities in life,
Yeah.
trust me, we're busy at the chamber too.
Right.
We don't have the ability nor the inclination or desire, I'll just be clear, to go to the rec department and try and work up soccer for folks. We believe this
I
needs to come from the
understand.
top down. So that's not anything, I keep getting people telling me that we should be going to all these places, and I'm already going to a lot of stuff, and I told you, we're trying to become a regional business alliance.
I'm not sure if maybe I'm mistaken, but I feel like the way it works is we can't just give money, somebody has to ask for it.
Well, hold on a second. If you, in your plan, again, we'll get back to that plan. In your plan, you started actually putting a light out there. Hey, we want to take some of these dollars and put in the youth programs, things for our citizens, quality of life improvements for Trinidadians. If you've got an idea for this, bring it to us. That's a lot better than telling the chamber to come and do those things. What I'm doing what the chamber's requiring me to do. But what I'm saying is have that plan out there and make it known, because it's not going to be hard for the chamber, once we see that in black and white, to contact Renee over at the COG and Family Services, to contact folks that are in those spaces. We have the membership and we have a communication with them, but we can't be the advocate for all these things. It's not our role or job, nor do we have the time or budget. Okay? I'm not being
I don't know
unfair.
if you know the answer to this or not, but
Go
I feel
ahead.
like when I talked to Miss Cheryl, I did say something about doing something at the rec center, and she said those monies come from somewhere else.
That's why we're wanting to get these dollars, though.
So I appreciate the discussion that's going on. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I can't speak for Cheryl. But I think it's great partnership that you're proposing, but it's a tax for the entire community, not just the chamber. So we all got to work together. And so I appreciate you and the chamber stepping in and saying you'll promote and everything. So, and join us.
Yeah.
Not
Collaboration.
butt heads. So
Right.
collaboration, but not drive the bus.
We can't.
Exactly.
We don't have a license.
Okay, good analogy, thank you. So, I think personally, it's a good discussion, but I think,
And we'll be back. Let's say we come back every
Exactly.
quarter, right? And we just now say, hey, let's partner.
yes.
Let's work together. Because here's the thing. His challenges, your challenges, and our challenges, quite frankly, they're the same pot
Right.
of challenges. So, we're not gonna fix everything right now. I've delivered kind of the message we want to do. Some good news and some just aspirational. We love the hire. We think that was really good. We actually love the folks that were working before.
Yeah.
Okay? And so, thank you for your time. Any
Oh,
other
thank you,
questions for
Pat.
me?
No.
Just holler at
I'll
me,
work
okay?
on it.
No, you got,
If I have more questions, I'll let you know.
you know, anytime, and you
Yeah,
guys are
some more
welcome. Any representative of yours
clarification
at
and-
any time is welcome to our board meeting. Okay? Just let us know you'd like to be there and you'll be right in, okay? You're welcome at any time, okay? Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Miscellaneous from board members. You got anything, Chris?
Nope, I'm done.
Do you have anything?
Nope.
I almost called Joe or Jason. You guys have anything?
Do not. I have a quick note, which I will send to Minty directly, but they got that new social media gal on the ground, and she is aggravating some of our local business owners in her approach. Specifically, most recently, she went to what you could call maybe a curated I mean, still largely secondhand, but also like creator stores. She labeled it a thrift shop and also used shops from a different store when she was only speaking about the first store. Separately, just, you know, the way she had kind of walked in and interacted with people, just been a little bit off-putting. So, I just want to put that out there for the board's knowledge that, I've heard from several different independent business owners that they don't like how she's come in and worked with them. I know DIQ's probably only focused on the performance of the books, and that's all well and good, but no one's going to want to work with her if she's difficult. So I'll provide that feedback when I get some time to type up a little detail.
So she used a photo from one business in a post about another?
Yeah, that's correct. It was a video, but yeah. But there's some other things there just in terms of how her general demeanor and how she's interacting with people. So, yeah, I'll get that feedback out there.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Who is this person?
The young lady who's doing the social media post, she's here in town
Working for
making
DIQ?
stuff. Yeah, working for DIQ.
Is her name Bobby?
I don't know what her name is. Do you know her name?
I think her name is Ashley. She's a subcontractor, so that's the gal that Lindsay's been referring to that's saving us $8,000 on her social media marketing. And Lindsay's all excited about her. I do think that, you know, the reels themselves that she's making, the video content, like it looks good. So that's another story. I don't have an issue with the output necessarily, but she needs to be more collaborative. And I think instead of like walking in, saying like, this is what I'm doing, you know, she should talk to a business owner and understand, you know, what they want to be highlighted or when it's a good time for her to come back. That's there about like scheduling problems too. So just kind of well navigate mindful, you know, and like instead of just cranking out the content because that's what she's getting paid for, like understanding the people that she's highlighting. I think is really what she needs to focus on.
Did you catch when he referred to you as Ashley? Pat? Yeah. He turned around and I just heard him refer to you as Ashley.
Yeah, I do a lot of things, not social media right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if he was confused.
Yeah.
Jason, you got anything?
I do not.
Jason, what time did you come in?
I got an email sent to me at 2:38, so right about then.
All right. Jason, 2:38. All right. I don't have anything for miscellaneous either. So for the next agenda, we can talk about scheduling a work session for our goals, to review our goals and see where we're at. Thanks for the suggestion, Joe. Should I put the decision matrix back on the next agenda?
I would like to, but I'm leaving on Monday and coming back on the 13th, so.
Probably not then, not next time.
But next one
Lindsay,
after that, I probably could.
Lindsay from DIQ will be in the next meeting for our updates. We don't have any applications. We have our budgetings done. Any other items for the next agenda? Well, if you think of anything, let me know, and I'll look through my notes to make sure. All right, so I guess the last thing is to adjourn. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
I'll make it.
And a second? All in favor of adjournment? Say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Hi.
Thanks, guys.